Hi, this is Gregor from BassTheWorld.com, and here's my review of the Aristides 050 bass. Probably the only bass on earth that comes only as a 5-string. When I visited my friend Nikola Adamovich a couple of weeks ago, I realized that the Aristides factory is just a few minutes down the road from his workshop. So I decided to go there and check out how these basses are built and what they sound like. I was familiar with the design of the 050 bass, but as soon as we arrived I realized I had no idea what it actually is all about. I tried it out and asked one of the luthiers what woods they are using to build their instruments, and he looked back at me with this "are you kidding me" kind of look, and when he started to explain I realized that I really deserved nothing better, and I'd landed my first serious faux pas that day. The guitars and basses are made from one solid piece of a special material that looks like this and feels a bit plasticky on its surface. It all starts with these molds. Both sides get filled with a special kind of fluid and fibers that stay in there for one day to harden out a bit. Afterwards, both sides come together and rest some more time to become one piece. Here you can see what a raw bass looks like. As soon as the material hardened out, it's ready for the next step. At this point, the 050 bass is hollow, by the way. The secret material is more or less the skin or the cover of the instrument. To fill that big hole, they inject a self-invented material called arium into the body. It contains billions of microscopic air chambers that result, so they say, in a very resonant tone. This could be called the engine of the bass. It's the main sound influence. Using composite materials is nothing new to the music industry. Some might, for example, remember the first ergodyne basses from Ibanez. These were made from luthite or however this is pronounced. And nowadays the same series is made from wood, but the first models were made from composite materials. And same thing also with the Kurt Turbo bass, for example. Sure, it's a thing of personal taste. Some guys, I guess even some of you, would never even consider to try a bass that was not made from wood. But from my experience I can tell in most cases they don't sound that different, and I think if you're not super huge experienced with trying out all kind of bass guitars, the most people won't even realize that these are made in a different way from the regular wooden constructions. The benefit of the special way is not to save money. It's much more about being prepared for all kind of humidity and climate changes, and woods actually move a lot when you're traveling around the world, or the seasons are changing and humidity is going up or down depending on what season it is or where you're living. I guess that might be different in Africa than we have it here in Germany. But in the last 2 weeks, autumn and winter came and it became colder, and I had to set up the most of my basses. Not all, but the most. This is a problem with woods, and artificial materials like this one is much better prepared for the situation. So nothing to do. You can travel around the world, you can go from Africa to Norway, and I guess, I can't try it out of course, but I guess there's no setup necessary. Once the injected arium is hardened out, we can move on to the next steps, and these are very similar to how regular basses are built. To increase the neck stability, they insert pieces of carbon fiber. This way is very common today, even Fender does it. The fretboard gets glued on, and this is actually real wood, usually rosewood. This might also be the reason why you don't realize immediately that these basses are not built in the usual way. After this step, they add and level the frets, paint the body, polish it, install the hardware and Seymour Duncan quarter pounders along with the electronics. If you want to learn more about how these basses are built, just stop this video for a moment and click the link in the description. This is an interview I did with Eric, the production manager of Aristides, and he explains a bit what's going on here. And for the others, now let's check this bass out. The appearance is a bit Batman-like. He would surely enjoy this design. But this is mainly due to its matte black color finish. Look at this. And this. A lot less Batman. But still somehow futuristic. This shape was created in the Dutch Meester van Rens design studio. But as a player I can say they did a good job. It's not just cool looking, it also plays really nicely. The only difficulty, but that might only be especially for me, is the narrow string spacing at a bridge of 17.5mm. Pick players will enjoy this very much. The German-made ABM bridge is adjustable in all 3 dimensions, so there's some more space to widen the spacing if necessary. And if this is still not enough, you can easily swap the bridge to a different version. The pickups and the necks leave enough space on both sides to make that happen and still deliver perfect functionality. The string spacing at the neck, set by a Kraftec nut, is 10mm, the common standard on the most basses nowadays. Unlike a regular Fender Jazz bass, the headstock of the 050 bass is angled. This helps to get a higher tension on the nut that prevents unnecessary string noises and dead spots. The tuners are Hipshot Ultralights, in my opinion the best open gear tuners on the market. Thumbs up for this. Since the neck is not made from wood, they had to put a lacquer finish on it. Usually I'm not really a fan of coated necks, but this one feels really nice and smooth. It doesn't seem to me like it will get sticky when you're sweating a lot. The profile could be described as a flat C. It's not as straight as a D profile on the back, but very flat for a C. Anyway, it feels very comfortable. When you're playing the 050 on your lap, it seems to have a 35-inch scale, but it's not. It's a regular long style neck, and when you're playing while standing, it sits perfectly in the normal position. Once you put a strap on, which comes by the way with the 050, you will also recognize that this bass is very lightweight. 4.2 kilos for a 5-string is really comfortable, and the slightly unusual ergonomics also make sure the bass stays in your preferred playing position. Next big thumb up. For those who like to play in the area of the upper frets, I might also add that the transition between the neck and the body, which is of course not a real transition in this case, is very flat. It's super easy to access all frets, and it also sounds great up there. To wrap this first part up, the look of this bass is what it is. Whether you like it or not, it's just a matter of your personal taste. But when it comes to the design and the construction way of this bass, this is really innovative, and the ergonomics are great. It really feels well at your body, and the overall build quality is just, it's outstanding. Thumbs up at this point. So now let's check out the sound relevant parts of this bass. The single coils are quarter pounders by Seymour Duncan. The neck pickup is compared to regular 60s jazz bass measures slightly closer to the neck. Distance to the bridge pickup is also a bit wider, but not too much. Therefore it sits almost in the original 60s position. If you are familiar with a standard jazz bass, which is surely the case, then this is nothing new for you. To control the different sounds, you have 2 volume pots, one for each pickup, and additionally an active 2-band EQ, bass and treble. If you pull the first volume pot, you activate the slap contour switch. This mainly adds lots of additional bass and especially accentuates the B string. If you pull the second volume pot, you deactivate the internal EQ. If your battery ever runs out of power, you can still finish your gig. No one will even recognize the sound difference. The first sound impression is dominated by rich and deep lows, decent mids, and a nicely contoured treble section. Even if it's powerful, it doesn't seem too aggressive to me. I could imagine this sound in a muscular metal band, but also in a supporting role with warm and nice depth in a soul or reggae context. It's a bit like a jazz, but much more even. It produces less peaks and gives you a lot of sustain, and as mentioned before, also a very resonant tone. If you want to hear more sound samples, just stop this video for a moment and click on the second link in the description. This leads you to a video demo where we just play this bass and go through some different settings and stuff. And there's no talking, just playing. And when you do this, make sure to plug your PC or laptop or whatever, smartphone, tablet, whatever you use to watch this video, just plug it to your bass amp. And then you can play around with the EQ, and in my opinion this is the best way of getting a real impression what the bass sounds like, because we record almost flat, so there's just a little bit of EQ but no compression and no real editing on the audio track, so it's just what the bass really sounds like. And so yeah, just do it and come back in a minute. The bridge pickup sounds awesome. It's much more powerful than we are used to it from a regular jazz bass. With this bass you may end up wanting to use it more often by itself than you had on other basses. The neck pickup is warm and mellow sounding and will perform great in every circumstance when the bass stays in the back of the sound to support the lead instruments. Both pickups combined produce, as usual, a slight mid-scoop. This is great for a clear, even sound that make you cut through the mix without adding too much volume. The active bass control acts from down below. It's capable to make this bass a massive wall of sound. The treble section adds clarity when boosted and makes harmonics come out much better. It doesn't sound annoying at all, which is sadly kind of a unique feature compared to many other basses out there. When you cut the treble, it's getting rid of all the typical playing noises, but still keeps their tone open and easily audible. So, that's it. Or what have we forgotten? I guess a few things. The frets are really small size. This is great for better intonation and overall sound. We have front and side dots on the fingerboard, plus this nice 050 logo at the 12th fret. The input jack is at the front, which is very helpful if you want to lean the bass on your amp for a second. The cable won't be in the way to disturb the balance. Due to the special construction of this bass, which would be in the wood world be related to a neck-through design, the neck is very stiff, in a good way. If you try this kind of vibrato thing with the neck, not much will happen. It's extremely stable. And finally, there's a microchip built in this bass. This sounds weird, I know, but serial numbers are removable and this chip is not. It's connected to some sort of a passport that comes along with every of their instruments. The Aristides guys will always be able to find out who the original owner of each bass was and can add some sort of a service history. For more info about this bass, just check the description. There are all the details and specifications of this bass, and also check the Aristides website for even more information. In conclusion, I would say this is not just an interesting and unique bass, it's also a really good one. The unusual materials and the building process and it looks don't change a bit of the fact that this is a real player. I like it a lot and I can only recommend to try it out if you ever get the chance. Sure, it looks and sounds special, and honestly our sound demo doesn't entirely bring justice to what this bass really sounds like. But yeah, it is what it is. It's special. I think it's not for everyone, of course, especially also because of its price, because I guess it's out of the range of like the average 500 or 1000 buck bass buying kind of bass player. But for those who are really looking for something unique, not only in a way of looks, also in a way of construction, or for those who want to have a bass that can travel around the world without any problems, this might be an interesting bass for these kind of people. So yeah, I can talk and talk and talk. Just check it out if you get a chance, so you get an impression by yourself what this bass sounds like. Whatever, if you have more questions, let me know in the comments, and don't miss to give thumbs up and subscribe and share it with all your friends and send the link to your mother. Maybe she will enjoy it too, and whatever. See you next time. Bye.